Bonjour à toutes et tous, vous écoutez First Print, votre podcast comics préféré pour une nouvelle émission de notre format Super Friends, qui est cette émission dans laquelle on va à la rencontre des personnes qui font vivre la pop culture et la culture comics par leur travail. Et on a le plaisir dans cette émission d'accueillir Jorge Fornés, qui est de passage en France. Il était l'un des invités, des quelques invités de Comic Con France sur le stand de DiableBlanc Comics. Donc on remercie Mike de l'avoir ramené chez nous. Donc on va pouvoir faire cette interview avec cet illustrateur espagnol qui nous régale depuis de nombreuses années. Nous, on est fans depuis Hot Lunch Special en 2018, mais depuis, le bonhomme a fait un sacré bout de chemin, notamment chez DC, avec de prestigieuses collaborations sur Rorschach et Danger Street, par exemple, avec Tom King. On va pouvoir un petit peu parler de tout ça, de bande dessinée, bien entendu. Cette interview sera en anglais, donc le générique arrive, puis on se retrouve en VO, si je puis dire, avec Jorge. So this was my short introduction in French. Jorge, I'm really happy to have you here on our podcast. How are you?
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm really doing fine. I've been wanting to speak with you for quite a long time because, like I said in the introduction, I think I really discovered your work with a Hot Lunch special back in 2018, and it was really amazing. And since after you got on Batman, and so we followed your career from then. But really, Hot Lunch special was a very special comic book. But
it's an old one. It's an old one.
Oh yeah, it
was my first and only creator on the book.
I think, yeah, I think so. But let's go back to the beginning, since it's your first time with me. Can you tell me how you grew up with comics? Were you a young reader, and at what point you decided also to not just read comics but make them?
Well, I love comics. I loved comics since I was a child, because I grew up in Spain at the 80s. And the Marvel books and the DC books were very well published in Spain on that age. And so I grew up reading comics. But my case is a bit weird, because I started to work on comic books when I was 38 years old. So it's too late, maybe.
How old are you right now?
Sorry?
How old are you
51.
right now? 50. Oh, okay, you're 51. You don't look 51.
I don't say 51? No. Thank you, man.
No, you're...
Yeah, I'm too old.
Comics make you younger.
Maybe. I don't take the sun, you know. So I never had any interest in doing other jobs, but I had to do other jobs. I started in comic books when I was working in a car dealer, repairing cars, you know. And I never took any classes of art, or I never had any published pages. And I started to try to get in the industry, but in the Spanish industry, not in the US market. And luckily, Steve Cibowski was there in Barcelona, in the Barcelona Comic Con, and took a look at my portfolio, and he wanted to ask me about to do some test pages for Daredevil. I did the pages. I maybe was the worst pages of my life, but some thinking about, hey, maybe it's possible to do an issue or a page for the US market or whatever. And I tried to show my portfolio since this year, around 2 more years. And the third year, in an interview with the people of DC and then with the people of Marvel, they told me, hey, we want you on board in less than 2 weeks. And the same day, we got a call from DC and Marvel to give me my first chance in comic books until now.
Okay, that's great. But you mentioned that you grew up in the 80s, and I really wonder, when you say that Marvel and DC were well published, can you tell us a little bit more about that? What did you have access to?
We don't have any comic book shops, because I grew up in a town close to Barcelona, but not Barcelona, and I didn't have resources to go to a big comic shop or whatever. So I remember a summer when I don't had anything to do. And every morning I started to get out from home. And I don't know what's the word in France. And in Spanish, kioscos. You can get press.
Yeah, kiosk.
Kiosk, yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Walking around looking for kiosks to find new comic books. And every day you find a different comic book. You didn't know what comic book you are going to find. And I started to read X-Men from the Chris Claremont and Paul Smith era. Daredevil with Romita Jr., with Mazzucchelli, of course, and Frank Miller. And was the summer of the publication in Spain of Watchmen, Batman the Dark Knight, Superman from John Byrne. So every book you got are a master class now, you know.
And but you didn't read them in order. It was like really,
yeah, of course I didn't read in order. But we were a group of readers, and everyone got a different comic book, and then we can all of us was reading all the books that we get. So.
But it's really interesting that you mentioned David Mazzucchelli, because obviously we can see some Mazzucchelli in your art. So
thank you.
I guess it's an obvious reference from you. But what were the other drawers that you wanted to be inspired from when you decided to draw?
Well, I started. First of all, I wanted to do the books that I like to read, and I'm not a big fan of the Amerimanga style, or maybe it's too modern for me, you know. I like the comic books of the 80s, 70s, 60s, and of course I love the work of David Mazzucchelli, but also the works of Alex Toth, people like Alex Toth, Meskin. I started to find the influence of the artists that I like. And when you start to do this, you can easily find you looking for artists at the 40s, 50s, you know. And I'm obsessed with the black and white.
Yeah. But you can see that because if you mention also Alex Toth, it's really about the inks of these guys.
Sure. I am obsessed with the balance between the white and blacks at the page. I don't care too much about the colors, because I think this is the page works in black and white. You have to do it a very bad job to do a bad page doing the colors. But my preferred works are in black and white, and I saw the works of other artists in black and white always.
And was it hard to learn to draw, because you told me that you didn't have classes?
I'm totally self-taught.
Yeah, but how do you self-teach yourself at more than 30?
Looking at other books, trying to find the way to ink close to the books that I like. But it's almost an instinctive stuff, you know. You don't know too much about anything, but you started to try mistakes, to do whatever you want. But it's difficult. But I don't know why. But you finally find you doing things close to the things that you want to do, you know. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's difficult to explain. But since I was a child, I started to copy panels and covers that artists that I like. And you keep something doing that. You keep styles. You keep ways to do the things. You keep. Maybe you don't know for sure what you are doing, but you keep some sort of things of the storytelling. I think that is like you have a box in your mind, and you are not really realize that you are doing something there, but they are keeping inside.
And you've got maybe some muscle memory also from drawing from your childhood.
Something like that. And I of course, the first works I did for Marvel and DC are the worst pages I did ever. But I try to I try to do every job I get is I try to do the things better.
And was it like? Did you feel like something like a pressure when you finally got a job from DC and Marvel, because you stepped in an industry with like all the artists that you admired before were there? So I don't know if you thought like, oh my God, I have to be also a very good artist to fit in these shoes. I don't know. How do you feel when you finally start working for this industry?
Well, it's true that I directly start at the Champions League, in Marvel in DC directly. Yes, at the first works. But I think what's happened, I started to do X-Men and the Batman annual. And in DC, they don't want me. They don't like my work. And in Marvel, they was keeping send me works. But I had a very bad luck with the editors, because in 1 year, Mike Mars from X-Men and Katie Cooper in Marvel 2 in Wolverine, all of them left the company. So nobody in Marvel knows me. So I was maybe in a year without work. And I started to try to draw digitally. I get a tablet and I started to learn to draw digitally looking YouTube videos. And maybe 7 months later, I started to send digital works. And they like it, and they gave me another chance. And I started to work in Doctor Strange for Marvel. And until now.
So you're still working digitally right now?
Yeah. Most of them, maybe 80% digitally and 20% paper. Why? Because it's better to me try different illuminations at the panels digitally than the inked ones. And I draw in paper because, of course, you get more money selling the original art, and because I like it. But not always I have the time to do all the book in paper.
And was it hard to adapt to digital techniques, or is it the same? Because I know that people like the feel of the pen on the paper, but especially with digital, what's great is that you can go back and try differently. But
not really. It's not was not hard because I mean I was just drawing in paper for 1 year, so it's not an artist now. Maybe you can talk with other artists that they say it was very hard to me do the change about physical to digital, because I spent 20 years working on paper and then I had to adapt my style to the digital programs and whatever. Not for me, because I was just working in the industry maybe 6-7 months in paper. So for me it was easy.
Okay, I just want to go back to a Hot Lunch special. How did you get on that project? Because like you said, it's a creator-owned project. So it's very different, and it's for now it's the only creator-owned project you did for the American industry.
Yeah.
So
the big boss of Aftershock was Mike Mars, who was my editor in
X-Men. Marvel. Okay, yeah.
And he started in Aftershock, and they sent me an email. Hey, I want to work with you again. And me, sure, yeah. And they sent me the pitch of that project with Elliot Rahal. Elliot Rahal is an awesome person, a lovely person. It's a friend. And they sent me the project. Was a project close to the films of Martin Scorsese. A very interesting story. I was working on Marvel on that age, I think. And they gave me total art freedom, And that's the reason that I said yes to do it and to work with Elliot Rahal. And I tried to do a creator on the books because I wanted to do a creator on the books too. I had the sensation that in Marvel, they gave me just single issues or single pages or whatever. And I wanted to show what I can do if I have a total creative freedom. So I did the 5 issues. Pretty happy with the result. And I think it's a book that I did the colors for the first time on that book. And people still like it. And it's, that Aftershock now is closed. I don't know. I have no idea if they can republish the book in the US or whatever. In Spain, we have still issues there, the trade paperback one. It was a very good experience to be in the industry, having more freedom than the Marvel or DC can bring you.
And I guess that you maybe enjoyed, but maybe also were like not afraid, but like when you're doing a work for hire project, like you've got the references, the characters, so you've got tons of imagery that you can use again. But whereas you are the creator of the visual universe, so you got to look. You can look everywhere. But also you can lose yourself in just looking for resources. So how do you find the balance between like looking for references, but also at some point like sticking to one thing and not and stop experimenting?
It's difficult to find, but it's almost instinctive. Is the word in English instinctive thing? I always I'm a big fan of the cinema. Of course, you can see that on my work, and I always go to the cinema with a little Moleskine and a pen.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy. So I can copy shots or whatever. I remember me when I was about to start in Hot Lunch Special, looking at The Good Father and that kind of films with a book. Trying to get the feeling, get the shots, the best shots for the story and whatever. I always like it to experiment new things with my books. Always. The best example of that is Rorschach. You can see Rorschach and see a different way to tell the story in every issue. That's the reason that I did Rorschach and to work with Tom King, of course. So it's true that sometimes you don't have the punch to experimenting with the book. It's half from the book and half for you. Of course, I get projects that I don't like so much, and I don't like to experiment. I just like to finish the pages, and that's all, But I always try to do something different in every work I get.
You mentioned Tom King, and you've been working together quite a lot. I think maybe the first time was on Batman 60.
Yes, was on Batman.
Yeah, How did it go with your relationship? Because you worked and worked again together. So how is it? And I would also wondering how are his scripts with you? Are they really loose or are they very descriptive? Yeah.
My story, of course, with Tom King is weird too. Because I met Tom King. I met Tom King through Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter. I started to do commissions from Batman commissions for the people, using the style close to year one of Mazzucchelli. And he saw the work and sent me a DM in Twitter. I love your work, and I want you to draw Batman. And I started to punch Jim Lee and the people from DC to give me my first opportunity in Batman with Mikel Janín. It's another Spanish artist.
Yes, we did. Fellowship.
And in DC, they gave me the first chance. And I remember the day that he put some pages in Twitter, and my Twitter exploded, And I enjoyed it a lot, the work with Tom King in Batman. A lot. And when he finished his run on Batman, we were talking about what to do next, and we started Rorschach. I love to work with Tom because, let me try to explain you. It's a very, very, very top creator of the industry, but he's always open to change whatever thing of the script to benefit the story, or because you have a better idea to tell the story, or whatever. I remember issues of Rorschach that I wrote the script and I said, "Hey Tom, we can do this here because There are a lot of possibilities to tell the story in another way. Okay. Do whatever you want, and I rewrite all the script, adapting my script to your drawings. It's not easy to find this kind of writers and industry now, you know? I have worked with awesome people like Chip Zdarsky, now Howard Chaykin, Tom King, Mark Waid, and this kind of implication and give you that total freedom to change whatever you think is better for the story is awesome to work on, you know?
And they're not always like that.
Not always, of course. Not always. But I have to say that I get lucky with the writers I worked, because Chip Zdarsky is different. Chip Zdarsky, I love the work of Chip, but it's different when you work with a writer that is also an artist. And not, because he has a visual way to tell the story that is not the same to you. And you have to try to find the medium point between your vision and his vision.
And do you spend a lot of time of trying different way of pacing a page, like the different number of panels, a different angle of view in the scenes, or is it something that when you read the script, you have clearly a vision of how you will draw it?
Not always. I spend a lot of time doing the layouts. That's true.
Yeah, the layouts. Yeah.
First of all, when I read the script, I don't do anything. I have to wait 1, 2, 3 days to digest. Is the word digest?
Yeah.
To digest the script, because you don't know at that moment, but maybe 2 days later you are at the shower or running on the street and you find the best way to tell that page or that scene or whatever. So I try to not to do anything during 2 or 3 days and started to separate.
Yeah.
The main sense of the book and what is the best way to tell that kind of scene or whatever. But I spend a lot of time doing layouts. It's the most important process for me.
Very loose layouts, like not too detailed. So
Too details. I don't do pencils.
Yeah.
When I send the layouts to the editor and the writer,
then you just do the inks.
They can see every detail of the book, because I started the inks over the layouts. I don't do pencils. To have an idea of how detailed are my layouts.
Okay, so you drew Batman, then you got onto Rorschach, which the two of them are very, very huge characters in the comics industry. Wasn't it too daunting to get on to draw these characters, and especially Rorschach, because you've got like the more pressure because you step in the foot of the Watchmen legacy. So did you feel any pressure?
No, it's true that I never had any pressure doing any book. Yes, of course, at my first works, because it's something new for me, but not later, because at last are you always alone at the table at your room, and you don't have to think about anything, just to do the best book as possible. So I don't felt any pressure. It's true that when the DC started to announce the Rorschach book, we had a lot of trolls and a lot of people complaining about but it's not my thing, you know. I did the book at the best way as possible. I'm pretty happy with the book. I think it's my favorite book I did until now. We try to find not to do a Watchmen 2 now worse. Do a good book, trying to keep forward the characters of the Watchmen universe, doing something very unpopular like a politic thriller. Now, not superheroes, not anything. And it was maybe was the best experience of my life doing comic books. And was the pandemic years. You remember that?
Yeah.
And the first Trump reign in the US.
Yeah.
So was a hard years, but I enjoyed it a lot to draw and to do the book.
And I don't know if you got to through Watchmen again and analyzing also Dave Gibbons paneling and stuff because you.
Of course, I was reading again Watchmen. We try to do the same feeling that the first Watchmen. So trying to do a different way to tell the story in every issue. Do the book that is think it about to read every month, not in trade paperback. Do the covers too. The first time I did the covers for in DC, I tried to do different things at the cover too. I started to work. Well, okay, that's number 2. That issue 2. The most important thing at the book are I always try to get 3, and do the cover with the 3 elements. Okay, you have the tapes, the mask, Laura conning the girl, or whatever. And with that 3 elements, I did every cover. I can tell you more, but because I think you can feel it and read it at the book. So it's something different than the other books that were published. If you ask me about to do more, I don't think so.
And after that, you got onto a book that is really different. It's also like kind of a thriller in the DC universe with Danger Street, but it's with not very known characters, like very, very niche characters. How much time did you spend doing researches to get on all these characters? And isn't it too exhausting to draw so many various characters?
Yeah, a bit. There was 25 characters, I think. It was the first time that Tom wanted to do a book with 25 main characters.
Yeah.
I remember when I was talking with Tom about to do that book, DC sent him the trade paper of the Essentials, with all that characters that are the worst characters of the DC universe, just for one issue. And he started to think about, okay, all that characters are the same universe. It seems impossible. And he wanted to do a book like a TV show. Thinking about, okay, if we are doing a TV show, not a comic book, how I write the script. Maybe it was the first steps to write some kind of things for cinema. Now Tom is writing the Lanterns show,
Yeah, and the animated series, Mr. Miracle.
And he sent me the trade paperback, and I said, okay, let's do it. And I started to work on him because there's 12 issues with, I remember, 25 pages or 28 pages. So it's a lot of pages, close to the 400 pages of the book. We spent 2 years doing the book, and it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny because nobody cares about the characters, so you can do whatever you want.
You really felt the freedom.
Yeah.
And maybe experimenting also on the pacing.
Yeah, I tried to do a different style because I thought that the Watchmen, the Rorschach style is not the best way to do that book. I tried to do a style more dynamic, more superhero. The only complaint is that the positive things about that book, that nobody cares about the character and you have total freedom to do whatever you want, is that nobody cares to get the book too.
Yeah.
You don't have a big name of the DC staff.
Yeah, but there are big names in the names of yourself and Tom King.
Yeah.
Because they know you from your previous work. So
of course, but it's not the same. Tom King and Jorge Fornés doing a Watchmen book or doing a Batman book than doing a book with unknown characters.
You really feel that it's still the characters are more important than the creators in this industry?
Not always, but it's true that the people like Batman, like Superman, like the main characters. And if you have, I understand that if you have money for just 2, 3, 4 books now for a month, you are going to get your favorite characters. Of course.
And
they
not
are
your
all-
favorite creators?
Yeah. Maybe
Because
not, maybe yes.
I would go for my favorite creators.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But well, the sales don't say that. The sales don't say that because you have a books with main characters, bad books with main characters, getting more sales than very good books with other characters they are not Batman or Superman or whatever.
And now you're working on Zorro.
Yes.
With Howard Chaykin. So how did you meet Howard, and how is he with you?
Howard and I met in Tenerife, in Canarias, in Spain, in a signature session. And it's a very nice guy, very kind. I love his work, mainly in the shadow.
Yeah, because his work is not really kind.
Yeah.
Let's say it's very harsh. And I interviewed him like 6 years ago. Yeah, he was rough. Like,
Yeah, he's a hard guy.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy. It's old school, you know. You have to think that he's a creator from the 70s and the 80s. So he was and it is a big star of the medium. I was singing with him in 2 days, and we started to think, okay, we have to do something at some point. Yeah, we love. Okay, goodbye. We come back to California and we come back to Barcelona. And the people from Omni Press, Matthias from Omni Press, he's the editor of Omni Press and now in Valiant in the US too. We were talking about to do something together at some point, and they asked me to do Zorro. And I think, okay, we will think about. I don't care so much about the character, whatever. We have Howard Chaykin to write it. Hey, wait, let's talk, because I wanted to work with Howard Chaykin. For me, it's a legend. It's a living legend of the medium. The problem is my fucking schedule. I have a lot of work to get into another monthly title, you know. But he tried to adapt. Howard tried to adapt the script from 5 issues to 3. 24 pages for issue, and I said, okay, yes, let's do it. And we undo the book. It's a different story because Howard didn't want to tell the same story of Zorro as always. So we are going to see Barcelona, we are going to see Argentina, Buenos Aires, we are going to see California. It's a bit.
But with the same Zorro? Because it's
the same Zorro.
Okay.
It's the same Zorro.
But in different
we are
countries.
going to see something different in the way that it's a bit cyberpunk. It's a bit fantastic too. It's not the same Zorro fighting with soldiers and whatever. So it's interesting because Howard didn't want to do the same as always.
And it's quite interesting because it seems like you're going full circle because we mentioned Mazzucchelli and Alex Toth.
I know.
You're going like...
I will start to look at the work of more Meskin to go back, even back. But yes, I of course I love the book from Alex Toth, Zorro. And my style is pretty close on the book. I can say no because when you will see the book, you will see the influence of Alex Toth and Mazzucchelli and all that kind of artists.
Yeah, we can wait for that. And so what's up next? Do you already have other projects?
Yeah. My
do
schedule
you plan on getting also a new creator on maybe? Or?
My schedule is closed until 29, I think. Oh. It's a craziness because we have a lot of books every month in the US. I don't know how is the industry here in France.
We've got a lot of books too. Like we've got everything included. So American comics, French comics, and manga. We've got 7,000 new books per year.
Yeah,
that's
too much.
Yeah, that's
too much.
Way too much.
But it's the same at the US market. You know, now we have new publishers. It's not the DC and Marvel game anymore. We have the Tynon platform. We have Warren Ellis, Mark Millar, and we have a lot of different publishers and new publishers. They are all looking for artists to do the books. So we have a lot of projects. I do a lot of covers too. So I have 2 or 3 projects that I can talk about yet. And when I will finish Zorro, I just started another creator-owned book. And a lot of things for DC too. I had the chance to do something for Marvel that is not sure yet. I try to find the balance to do the. I want to try to find the balance to do creator-owned books and work for myself. You know.
All right, we'll be looking forward to everything.
Thanks so much.
In the next years. Thank you so much for your time, Jorge.
It was my pleasure.